what is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the second album by American singer Ari Gold. Basically, this project is called Space Under Sun, and it came out in the winter of 2004. Now, I'm not as full-bound sure as when this product came out. It says that this came out January 1st of 2004, which is kind of an odd particular date to have that particularly kind of happen. Although within the appeal, I do think this album came out in January 2004, so it's within the pitch as far as saying. I feel like it's kind of haphazard, the relative information about this album as far as what's first going to happen. It's somewhat dated, the particular fare of this album as far as the aspect behind how the product of the popularity kind of went along with it. I think Ari Gold had a relative kind of notable popularity within some of these type of fares, but it was just kind of the more pitch that felt kind of more off to the wayside. Kind of when you think of folks like Blood on the Dance, other folks off to the wayside in like 2000s pop, kind of dance pop, electro pop, some of those type pitches, and R&B like Ryan Leslie and Blood on the Dance Floor, some folks like that, some of those particular folks, Jay Holiday pitches like that, I'd say. But it's within the aspect, this particular swirl of aspect as far as this album kind of happens here, it definitely reminds of like folks like B2K, definitely has some R&B bounce of folks like B2K. It also has a little bit of boy band type vibes like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, some of those particular type formats. There's a good dance groups within the pitch behind this real kind of rhythmic R&B slash pop within the formats of as far as those pitch can happen. It's pretty contemporary for the times. It's definitely off to the wayside as far as those pitch can happen. Has some good type of appeal. Not as commonplace in the spotlight, not as full bound sure how much this had chart appeal within the pitch behind it, but this has a good aspect of having like some good pop type appeal that has the real tone of just having like some dance groups on here that's just, I mean, I think nowadays you'd have to seek pretty difficultly to be able to find particular places that would have played this album nowadays, but within the pitch this probably had like some pretty decent probably spins that it had. Kind of similar to how Madonna's more centric to like the dance charts, where she doesn't really chart as full bound, but it's just the pitch that usually Madonna makes dance music, so it's kind of the pitch that when you think of like dance centric charts within pitches like that, that's the routine staples. Within dance centric type charts, it's the routine type staples of folks like Madonna and probably like other folks like that, like I would say like Adam Lambert, some of those particular type folks within the sense of it. But yeah, so this I'm not as full bound sure like the highest charting songs that Ari Gold particularly kind of had. He seemed more off to the wayside, but this is an excellent type album, pretty much within the pitch. Pretty much within the pitch of it, out of 14 songs in here, I wound up recommending 12. So it's within the pitch as far as saying now 2 of those are at least almost songs. So 2 of those total songs are at least almost songs within the pitch. But for the most part, I do recommend these in more almost entire hand over fist type fashion within the format of it. But I just would have to say, so it's kind of within the fashion I look after here, but within the relative lack of chart appeal and casual type appeal, I'd say within the aspect, just within the pitch behind it, that it would seem kind of within the format as far as saying. I mean, it's definitely pretty dynamite, but I just question like the full bound popularity that would kind of have within nowadays type fashions, considering that this just didn't have any charting hits within the aspect. But still, I'm probably gonna, I would say 12 out of 14 within the pitch is probably gonna get like a 9.25 out of 10. I'd say something within that format, because normally 12 out of 14 would be like a 9.5, somewhere in there, 9.5, 9.75. But it's just within the pitch as far as saying, one of which songs that is not recommended is just a remix, which is the only real true poor type one apart from one other. So it's just a pitch. But yeah, there are 2 brief singles out this product as far as this fair is going to happen. Like I was saying, I feel like these probably were more considerable on like the dance charts pitches like that, more urban and rhythmic type charts, or the heat seekers charts, some of those type formats within a dance sense. So yeah, I would treat this Ari Gold cat within the same format as like Madonna and Adam Lambert, Blood on the Dance Floor, some of those particular type folks, Jeffree Star folks like that. It has to say within the pitch behind it, but it's definitely some blistering type appeals. So Way of You is the lead single. This had a music video for it. As far as this fair is going to happen, it's like a rave kind of white noise. The song is some rave white noise that I'd say in gel music to kind of get here. I would definitely feel like this is some late shift kind of dance hype, I'd say, in just a vanilla night craze as far as this first app. So there is a number of assortments like some night venue kind of step out, kind of some pajama cat type mixes as far as this first going to happen. Because this album doesn't have like a commercial spot, because this album doesn't have like a commercial anchor and just an overall staple in terms of like the most popular in terms of like the format of it, it's kind of within the pitch as far as saying that it's kind of something you have to go and seek for within the pitch as far as just looking for like the songs that are going to have like the casual kind of notoriety about it within those pitches. But I definitely would probably start with some of the 2 singles. He's on My Team's another one within those fashions, but Way of You is probably the most immediate one on here in terms of like the fashion, like probably the most casual type of tension. It's the most popular song according to Spotify, but really just to signify what I mean by this album kind of being off the wayside is the most popular song on here only has less than 5,100 plays within the pitches, so that would be Way of You, which has 5,086 plays. And I would say there's some other ones on here, like Intimate has like 4,700 and Space Under Sun has like 4,300. But within the pitch behind, I think for the most part, this is kind of something that slipped underneath the radar for the most part, but it is good enough to seek out within those formats, I would definitely have to say. So He's on My Team is the second single. This is a nice one here, but this is an almost song for me just within the pitch. I kind of question like the full bound velocity, how often I would listen to this one. I do appreciate the song, but it's just kind of the pitch of this. If I were to purchase this album, me questioning the oftenness of when it were to come up in a shuffle, how many times it would like get a skip or something like that, or just the immediate type factor. Wave View has a little bit more immediate sense, but this one's kind of more haphazard. Usually when I give albums high scores, I look within a pitch, when I give these albums high scores, I realize within a pitch that when they get put on like a standard shuffle, something like that, it's not every single time that these songs are going to be played to the full extent these songs are not going to be played to the full extent when they come up within a pitch, just based upon the moods and facets that kind of go along with it. But more often than not, but within the pitch, these are enjoyable within the format. It's just the format as far as saying. I just realized that probably a couple of these songs on here, some of these are just more jarring. I look within, the thing about the two songs, they're almost songs. Both He's on My Team and More Than Enough are the almost songs, but both these are dance club type songs within pitch, but they're still a little bit more jarring and abrasive within the format of it. I like the format of these songs, but it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying, considering that I don't get drinks in my system like that anymore as far as this pitch can happen, it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying that it's just the questionnaire as far as saying, if you're not heading out to like dance floors and getting your munch on some of those pitches and having some gab for the bells to kind of speak to as far as this pitch can happen, just within like the social festivities and blitzing of it, it's just not as fun. It's not as much with the full blown affable. To me, it just don't have as much full blown affableness. Now I realize within the format that is a good portion of this album that's kind of more social and curved, but it's just kind of the format as far as saying that some of these just give more higher doses of excitement than others that just give you that appetite for it as far as this pitch can happen. But He's on My Team is an almost song. This is like a spritzy kind of dance jazz kind of get with an aspect, just some demon tongue kind of venue routine. I'd have to say here, just going to be a long night of fun as far as this pitch can happen. So I did like the team up with Kendra Ross on this He's on My Team type song as far as this pitch can happen. She kind of gives off Aaliyah vibes within some of that form. It's definitely a good type of appeal within those aspects, like that harnessing as far as this pitch can go. It's a good, nice, and it's a clever song concept as far as this pitch can happen. It's not a gimmick song, but it does have like a clever rendition, just like a conversation type song that works pretty good for like a pop song. So it's a good type pitch, but I just question the oftenness of listening to it. This might be a song that grows on me a lot more later when I purchase this album. It's just within the pitch as far as saying I just question the oftenness of this exact moment. It's the frequency of how many times I would listen to it within the consistent cycle, but it's a good, nice one. And the other almost song is More Than Enough. It's like a staccato kind of bounce cut to kind of get here, just more white noise. I'd have to say same sort of pitch like Wave of You and Level Takeover and like Do You Really Want to Hurt Me, some of those type ones with the aspect. It's like get hammered type tune. I'd say with the aspect, definitely want to get real blissed out, just get some hella drinks in your system, some good percolate vibes to swim pitch. Some of these type ones, this one's a little bit more minimalist within pitch, but this has that particular type vibe of just like a standard kind of just white noise. A lot of this, because this album is not as full bound kind of within the velocity of the popularity of it, it's just kind of pitched a lot of this, like when you think of like album cuts off this album, it's one thing to get like an Eminem or a Dr. Dre album cut where some of those are going to still have like millions of plays kind of in popularity, but this is a lot more with an aspect. I'd say if you're lucky on like a good day, you might hear Wave of You, and on a distant kind of lucky day, it might be He's on My Team, the other single and music video. But it's just when the pitch as far as saying a lot of this is just very unlikely to, a lot of this album is very unlikely to kind of hear in like a casual type format. But these are some social type ones on here, so I do appreciate More Than Enough. It's just kind of one I question the oftenness of, but it's a good type pitch. So the only two songs I don't recommend off this album would just be Back to Me and then the bonus track Wave of You, the Twisted D's Undertow mix. So basically Wave of You, Twisted D's Undertow mix is just kind of one that just didn't, this one was kind of a tropical type one that just didn't have as much appeal within the aspect of it in terms of now. The original Wave of You is just that much better within the pitch. It's really Hand Over Fist was the better tune compared to the remix of it. Just was the fashion that just didn't have as much full bound kind of appeal with it. And then Back to Me was just kind of a homely and personal type one that just didn't have the aspect as far as nailing it as well. There's some ones that just do it better, like Bash Shirt Meant to Be is just one that does that a lot more within the appeal of it. And then Reunion kind of has some better type of appeal for like the aspect of just kind of having a smoky type one, for like the aspect of just a little bit more like a down tempo type one that just pulls out the vibe a lot better. It's just the pitch as far as saying. So yeah, this album gets a 9.25 out of 10. Now the score, supposing I were to connect a lot further when I purchased this album, pitches like that with More Than Enough, and he's on my team, I'd probably say this album would either get like a 9.5 or 9.75 even, just within the pitch as far as this format's going to go, because really, slashing a remix when the remix is not as good as the original, it's not as bad because it's not actually a new song within the pitch, but I'd say it'd probably be like a 9.75 just within the formats, just if I recommend those two extra songs, because it'd be 12 out of 13. Pretty damn, just well in the cusp of being a 10 out of 10, but I'm just going to say 9.25 because it's actually 3 songs. It's actually 2 songs I don't recommend, plus 2 songs kind of here and there, so it's just within the pitch, but still pretty much within the aspect of being a relative classic. But I look after here, there's some good nice ones on here. Space Under Sun's a quality ones, like a brooding kind of in a sultry sense, kind of day after hours kind of get with an aspect, just some day after hours shimmer, I'd say. Good relief about this song. This has some radio appeal about it. So it's just kind of the product like 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock p.m. type dredge with an aspect, just in a more kind of R&B type sense. So it's just the format. Kind of, you would think it's kind of makeshift, but it just kind of has it in a more kind of R&B flavor type sense, just within the product. It just like after hours kind of retires versus pitch can happen just in a more smoke type fashion, just more sauce filled as far as this pitch can happen, just good type tone for that. I don't know if I talked about Bash Shirt Meant to Be, but this is a quality one. Bash Shirt Meant to Be is like a makeshift kind of evening haze kind of get here. This reminds of like TLC, I'd had to say, from like 90s type fashions. It's like some good neighborhood gloom, I'd had to say, with an aspect, and it's good for some tracks as far as those first kind of happen. So it's just, then the pitch, just talking about just round the residential type fair pitches like that, kind of within the format. There's another song on here that is called Caught within the pitch. Caught is more after hours, kind of past 7, 8 o'clock p.m. pitches like that, but Bash Shirt Meant to Be is more kind of like 5:45, 6:45 type haze, and then pitch behind it. Just kind of relative makeshift in this sense, but just kind of in a more R&B type fashion that's not as much settled in within the format. Just more workaday. It's just kind of format. It's kind of more sauce tinge, kind of after effect. It just like the just got done with tasks as far as this fair is going to happen. Funk That Ship is a quality one. It's like a nice, not Funk That Ship is like a nice night venue soul vibes going to get within the aspect here. Just an alternative to beat. Song's like a nice alternative to B2K, I'd have to say, within the tone behind it. Good alternative to Backstreet Boys, some of those type of folks as well within the pitch behind it. Just basic bounce about this song, and this is a good one. This is a good one to get live to as far as this format's going to go. So there are some dance type moments. This is another one that has some pretty immediate type fashions, but I'd say just getting like a good 1-2, getting like a good 1-2 punch with a few songs to get like a good 1-2 punch with Wave of You, the lead single, and probably the most notable song on here, I'd have to say would be definitely Funk That Ship. To a certain extent, I'd probably say Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? And I'd probably say songs like Caught have some relative good appeal about it, and I'd probably say Fantastic is a nice one in a stone type sense, get some smokers in your system type sense, and there might be at least one other type one on here as far as what's first going to happen. I'd definitely say the closest thing to like a 1-2 punch in terms of like some venue type noise and pitches like that with like the kind of schmooze type ambience and pitches like that would be Wave of You, and then the one to go for after that would be Funk That Ship within the pitch. But yeah, I don't know if I talked about Caught, but this is a nice one here. Caught is like an after hours weaving to kind of get just amidst like city commerce. I'd say definitely a good nice one to smoke a few 2 pitches like that, get some smokes in your system. There are some smoke type fairs on here. I do like the product having a little bit of smoke fair. Doesn't as full blown kind of designated, but it's within the pitch of just sneaking in some smoke type fair within the in between type modes and fairs like that. Just the conduct of like some kind of weavings pitches like that. It's like a good late. This is like a late feeling grand kind of outs as far as this pitch can have. So just an aspect as far as saying just to miss like the neighborhood type fair, just whether walking to like a venue or just pitches like that. Just some of the product to just kind of then the night wins some of those type fairs. So it's just good type pitch for some of that. Getting like some Slim Jims and burritos as far as this fair's gonna happen with an aspect of a good type of appeal. Fantastic is a quality one. Now this is another nice one on here. This is another good venue type of immediacy to go for within the pitch behind. It's like a snazzy kind of after hour sludge kind of get within the aspect here. Just feeling torched, I'd say, good smokage in your system, just like Caught some of those type tones, but still ready for some socials. I'd say it's an overall lit type one. Yeah, but I would definitely say Fantastic is like a real nice snazzy type one with the pitch. It's real nice torched and razzle type one with the pitch as far as this fair is going to happen. Another immediate type one to go for in the fashion would be Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? It's like a nice mid-pace kind of day after hours groove to kind of get within the aspects here. I'd say it's like a spiffy kind of jump start as far as this pitch can happen. So this one pitch is good, definite. First few type ones within the pitch as far as this pitch can happen. Funk That Ship, Wave of You, Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? Some of these type pitches within the format. Caught some of these type nice ones. Fantastic. Just good assortment. I like some basic kind of rave white noise and pitches like that. Just in the product, more hole in the wall type places, pub crawls, pitches like that. Just places where there might be wings or just like standard nachos or just like a couple mozzarella sticks, some of those type formats within the pitch behind it. few cold beers, some of those type fares within that format. Just like some night weavings and neon as far as this pitch comes. Just with the aspect, maybe not as much full bound neon, but just with the pitch, just more strobe lights, and kind of rave type fashions where there would be some sort of glissiness as far as those aspects can happen. But reunions a nice one as well. There's a few more I haven't talked about yet. Reunions a nice one. It's like a glared and dusky kind of sunset period, kind of get within the aspects here. Just some chillax, I would definitely have to say. Just groovy kind of extra noise pitches like that. Good song for Gab and Snack Fair as far as this fair is going to happen. So just within the pitch, kind of a little bit like if Bass Shirt meant to be is more evening type fair within a more just kind of snack run type sense within the pitch. It just kind of like trekking, I'd say. Reunions just within that relative dust type setting was just kind of a pitch of just a little bit more within chillax and hangout type fashion within the pitch as far as those fairs can happen. Just more round neighborhood type fair, but just kind of in within the appreciation, the outdoor kind of enjoyment of it, or just more just more grounded as far as this pitch can happen. So it's just in the pitch as far as saying just not as much in motion within the pitch, but just some good type fares. Intimate is a quality one on here. I like the appeal of this particular song. It's like a nice evening jive to kind of get here with this particular mix. Like some soulful smoke, I'd have to say, with an aspect here. Just a mid-tempo kind of slow jam, definitely good type of appeal for that. It's like some great dim lights kind of hitters. It's like a great dim lights kind of hitter as far as this first kind of. So this is a good example of like a pop type tune and like a ballad type sense. Not a full-bound ballad, but just kind of a slow jam that has the appeal of slowing down the tempo but keeping it with an aspect of where it's not just kind of where it loses its luster as far as this pitch can happen just within the tone. As far as certain R&B albums don't always pull out the vibe as far as slowing down the energy as far as this pitch can happen. It's kind of, I mean, with the aspect ballads are popular enough, down tempo slow jams within the picks of like the depiction of it. But this is a good example of like some dim lights, kind of just strobe light kind of haze and slow jam type noise, slow dance kind of energy within the pitch as far as the format of just getting towards it. So it's just good. It's the after effect to retire as far as those pitch can happen. So it's a good type tone for that particular fair. It's a good aspect of knowing jive as far as those pitch can happen. So it's just a good tone of like having energy. Good aspect of having good energy ratios as far as those first can happen, like the particular pitch of it. So another one I don't think I've talked about yet on here would be Loveful Takeover. It's like a bleary and quick night shift kind of sludge, kind of get within the aspect here, just a flip mode kind of white noise that I'd say, and this is like a live in type one. So it's just one pitch as far as saying, you know, it's just kind of the after product of past 7 o'clock p.m. pitches like that for Loveful Takeover. Just kind of the pitch behind it. It's definitely some flip mode type white noise, like I was saying. Just the aspect of just like got done with tasks as far as those formats can happen, and just the product of like feeling very lively with them pitch as far as wide awake, some of the stuff fares, whether it just woke up at 6:45 or just pitched like that, or just being amidst like the wrapping up moments, like the transit of things being done as far as those pitches can happen, just kind of the mode of figuring out how the night spices are going to happen within those pitches. So it's a good type format. Now I will say within the product of it, this has some good embrace for like the sunset kind of hours of like 5:45, 6:45 pitches like that, but in terms of like something amidst like the lunch rush or something for like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock p.m., it's not as full bound with getting you through your day as much like the pitch is just like the embrace of just like between like some settle in for the day and pitches like that, and like a more after effect of hangout type fashion, and just the pitch of having like a pretty like sparky kind of time as far as like the product of like the transit type moments of like getting to like 7, getting to get being at like 6:45 and 7:45, some of those type pitch, and just the after effects of getting into like the AM type hours in the pitch. So it's a good type tone with the aspect, and definitely like the dusk appeal of this album as far as those formats can have. So it's just a good type aspect here. This album's definitely like some superb loud pack for evenings as far as this first can happen. Definitely like the blistering type appeal of it. So it's a good aspect in terms of like definitely more in a hole in the wall type sense, just more alternative, just like kind of something once again to seek out within the format as far as getting towards it, but it's just within the pitch as far as saying not. I mean, it's just kind of something that I really doubt the popularity of how often these tunes would be played in like any sort of fashion, considering most of these songs didn't even have 10,000 or 5 digits worth of plays within some of those type of appeals with it. Pretty much most popular song after 20 years is still only at 5,000 plays, so it's just the pitch as far as saying, but it has some good aspects, definitely worth seeking into. It's just the pitch of getting like some good dance rumblers and like a more underground type sense, but definitely worth the aspect of just getting some further type dance crews that really has it. So just really nails the smoky type appeal, real sparky type energy just for the format, just getting some extra kind of white noise pitches like that, just some good ambience to kind of look into for some extra kind of traces, like some good bubblers, pitches like that. So Soldier Score I'll probably say with an aspect of what I just described with it, so I'd say 9.25 score. The Soldier Score would probably get maybe like an 8.75 just from the pitch. I mean, it has some good ones on here, but this album has some good ones on here, but in terms of like an immediate type fashion, I'm probably saying the dance club moments are probably the most immediate, but there are some makeshifts on here as far as this first can happen. I do like some of this 5:45, 6:45 type embrace for like the moments, like some chillax type fashion, some kind of Netflix type moments in the pitch as far as those first can happen. Just smoke a few in the night wind pitches like that, some snack runs, some of those type fares, just amidst like residential weavings, a little bit of makeshift within a pitch. and like plenty of good dance noise within the pitch. So I would definitely say most immediate ones would be Wave of You, Funk That Ship, Do You Really Want to Hurt Me, Caught, Fantastic, some of those type pitches within the social bite of it within those pitches. But it's just kind of the format as far as saying that the chart appeal is not as full bound on here. So it's just kind of pitch that it's just going to be more in recommendations and folks taking your word for the recommendation more so than the full bound kind of likelihood that this is going to be something that's going to be recognizable. So it's just some pitch as far as saying so 8.75 social. In terms of the future, like the unfortunate thing is Ari Gold is deceased and has been for over 4 years. So it's just some pitch as far as saying he does have a few more albums within those pitches. He dropped between like the early 2000s to about maybe the late 2010s or early 2020s within the pitch, but it's just the format as far as saying this is a pretty good knockout within the pitch behind it. Definitely some good blitzing in the aspect of it. Definitely a pretty dynamite type one within pitch. Very off to the wayside, but once you do fuck with it, it does have a few rumblers on there that have like some good aspects, like some banging times.